for share them, cause guess what me I pray? You sell them to the people them, for your little fee.
No, that I know me, but guess what? Put some tea back in the barrel, me love foreign tea.
Alright, so me I send off the barrel a morning.
Yes,
just
brother.
relax and wait for. I'm not send no money to help clear it, and you have to pay for. Me I send off the barrel a morning, just relax and wait for.
Yeah, me do.
But me not send no money to help clear it, and you have to pay for.
So yo, me done.
Yo, where are you doing?
So you can't send even like a 60 or a 50 or Western.
What that, brother?
Western Union, how the thing go?
You know easy, you know that. Me back the barrel and still have to go send money for clear it.
Yeah, man, just make it up, man.
Jaja.
Nah, pressure the thing.
Alright, cool.
Give thanks to your barrel, see it, you see it?
I say a word, Charge. Everything alright. Good.
At The Cable, we know being local means supporting our own, and our customers deserve the best. Our customers deserve platinum. So now, all customers of The Cable qualify for our new Platinum Loyalty Card. An elite MasterCard experience that lets you support your own like never before. Instantly send money to any Platinum Loyalty member at home or around the world. Shop online or in person anywhere MasterCard is accepted. Save with no interest and 0 annual fees. And the best part? If you're a Cable customer, you are already pre-approved. Just visit the Cable building in Basse-Terre or sign up online at www.thecable.net. Get your Platinum Loyalty Card today because you deserve Platinum. Terms and conditions apply.
Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Frank and Candid. I am Tony Nias. Glad to have you on board. All right. What's in the news? Well, we're hearing that the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Keith Rowley, has tested positive for COVID-19, and he is in isolation under medical supervision. That's according to the Office of the Prime Minister. Dr. Rowley began experiencing some flu-like symptoms 2 days ago and was tested for the virus. After being tested for the coronavirus, Dr. Rowley tested positive just a couple of hours before he was planning to receive his first COVID-19 vaccine dose. So he is at the moment in isolation. All right, and we're still continuing to get vaccinated. I see there's still some lines, so that's good. It means people are still going after the vaccine. Remember, we're trying to get to herd immunity so that things could, get a little better for us here. I know there's some fatigue setting in as far as the protocols and so on. But according to the CDC and their guidelines, if we get to that herd immunity, then we can relax a lot of it. So let's try and get up there to that 70-75% vaccination so that we can begin to enjoy some semblance of normalcy again. Speaking of more vaccine news, something coming out of the Grenada that suggests that in Grenada they're making it mandatory.
Tonight,
right?
everyone working in the hotel sector.
So everyone in the hotel sector is have to take the vaccine. It's mandatory. All tourism sector workers must be vaccinated in Grenada. So there's a lot going on with respect to the vaccination and some legal stuff and legal challenges in different jurisdictions as to all of that. But we will talk about that sometime next week. So stay tuned for that. Okay. Today I want to take a look at an issue that has come about through just general conversation with friends and family with respect to some things they're noticing in St. Kitts and Nevis. Well, they're noticing in St. Kitts and Nevis, but when you look at it and you do some reading, you realize that it's across the region. Some time ago, I had an opportunity to, be walking through my old neighborhood, and a friend of mine was pointing out to me that, what used to be here and what used to be there, and what's there now and what's not, and trying to make the point that things are changing. People are doing different things. People are coming into the country and making a living. Some people believe it is at our expense. Some people have a different opinion. And one of the things that this friend said to me was he didn't mind people so much that people were coming in and doing business, but he was more concerned about a different part of that whole story. Because he pointed out to me that if you went into this establishment, and this was the test, you go into this establishment, and he said to me, find me the person that looks like us. I couldn't, so it's the point he was making. And what he was talking about was the fact that a lot of small Chinese businesses are cropping up all across this country. But I would go further and I'd say, based on my own reading and research, it seems to be true throughout the Caribbean, and this is raising concerns from people like my friend and others. And the concerns range from who they employ to whether they adhere to local standards and laws, which is, for him, the bigger part of the issue. Who they employ and whether they adhere to the local standards and laws. Now, the Chinese immigrants, right, they usually open family-run businesses where they employ other people, other workers from China instead of locals. On the other hand, there are some locals who are making a killing and therefore may not share the same concerns. Why? Because the Chinese who are establishing these businesses are providing significant rental income to those people, and so for them it's okay. You see, these Chinese establishments, they're usually renting entire buildings. They're paying top dollar for those buildings, more than any local would ever pay for the same rental. And so, as a result of that, you find that rental prices for the commercial space has been jacked up, because they know the locals don't, if they don't want it, they have somewhere to go. So we are witnessing this silent flood of Chinese immigrants that's showing up, and there's no sign of easing up, except for the fact that the pandemic has kind of slowed things down over the last year or so. Some time ago, we talked about China with its excess capital that has focused mainly on their global attention on heavy investments in things like stadiums and highways in small nations here in the region and other places. But what we're talking about here today, specifically in the Caribbean, is this parallel takeover that is quietly underway. Thousands of Chinese individuals are moving into this region. They're setting up small businesses, supermarkets, and they're reshaping the economy. So let me share with you some numbers that I picked up. According to a 2014 Observatory on Migration report, it says that approximately 200,000 Chinese nationals are smuggled into the region annually to work at Chinese-run establishment. So there is another underground operation that's happening. They're getting them in. Some are coming in legitimately and setting up these businesses. But their workers, a lot of times, are coming into the region through some back door. Once they come in, they have a place to go to work. Many of them send their money back home. In 2016, China was said to be the second largest recipient of remittances from Suriname, for example, and that's according to the World Bank. In the first half of 2017, Chinese investors constituted more than half of all applicants to the Antigua Citizenship by Investment Program. More than half were Chinese. Dominica, St. Vincent, St. Kitts, Antigua, each of us have 100,000 or less in terms of population individually. But some reports a couple of years ago showed that in each of these there are at least 300 Chinese migrants. Now, these are referred to as entrepreneurial migrants. They are not people looking for work. These are people who come specifically to open up shops, restaurants, shops, supermarkets. But these businesses, they bring in Chinese workers that are all, for all practical purposes, can be considered slave labor. They are paid below the minimum wage here, so they're not going to complain. They know how they got in, and they provide them their living quarters. That's why they usually take the whole building. So locals are deprived of jobs as a result. Many times you look at these establishments, you find no person that look like any of us, or maybe just one. And the role of that one individual is kind of, you're kind of skeptical about that too. So many in the local private sector see them as competing with them, except for those who have benefited from renting them the properties. And this comes at a cost for others, because like I say, rental rates will go up for local entrepreneurs if they are trying to do something, because they don't have to worry about that. There are people who want to rent the property anyway and set up these businesses. So for those individuals who rent to these people, it's a cash cow for them. So they don't have the same concerns as my friend would have when we look at that. And like I said, his concern is not so much that people come in, set up a business, but it's the fact that they're really not providing jobs for us. And if you're going to come in and set up businesses in this country, it should be one that provides jobs at least for us, so that you're contributing to us. But no, they're actually bringing in their people who end up going to work in these establishments. So there you have it. I don't know. What's your thoughts? That's mine. There needs to be, for example, maybe legislation that makes an establishment, people coming in with a foreign establishment, maybe there must be some requirement that a certain percentage of the labor force must be local. Otherwise, this is what you end up with. And these are the kind of legislation I believe that could be useful for us. And so not that they can't. Everybody is welcome to come in this country once they come in legitimately and set up a business. But it must not be to the detriment of local people all the way around. It must be that you're going to get some contribution from you and that business. in the form of either a give back or in the form of employment that you provide. All right, give me your thoughts on 465-2555 and 718-577-2916. We will take your calls. Let's go to a break. When we come back, those are the numbers you can call. Give me your input on that question.
It's only just a phase. Once we're vaccinated, and everybody gon' be safe. Everybody gon' be safe. One kind, one people. We are roll up to roll out. Cause no man's alone. Do what's right. Cause I love you. Brother, my sister. And we're in this together. My sister, my brother. I don't wanna lose you. I love you too much. I think it's better for us, yeah. It's better for us, yeah. I don't wanna lose you. I love you too much, yeah. It's better for us. Tell your mommy to let it roll out.
Bless up. Dejo here, and I'm doing my part in the fight against COVID-19 by following all safety protocols and, most importantly, rolling up my sleeve for the vaccine. So I'm encouraging you to do the same, because that's our best shot of protecting ourselves, our family, and our friends. So don't wait, vaccinate. Let's roll up to roll out.
I will take the vaccine because building defenses against COVID-19 is a team effort, and we are all a key part of that defense.
I definitely will be taking the vaccine when it's my turn.
I will be taking the vaccine as it is an important tool in the fight against the pandemic.
It is important for me to vaccinate to ensure that if I do become infected with the disease, it can prevent hospitalization. In addition, it also helps with herd immunity.
I will take the vaccine to protect myself, my loved ones, my clients, my co-workers, my community.
St. Kitts and Nevis, why do we need to vaccinate? Kenisha? So we can jab COVID-19 away.
All right, welcome back to Frank and Candid. And as I wait for your call, I am directed to a news item coming out of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, just so that we understand what's happening with this COVID thing. There's an article from the Caribbean National Weekly.com headlined, St. Vincent government may soon be unable to pay salaries and pensions. And just quickly, it says that if the prevailing economic situation continues, the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines may be unable to pay salaries and benefits. That's according to Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, who said this just yesterday. He would not be able to pay the monthly salaries if this continues for another 2 months. So, in certain parts of the Caribbean, certain parts of the world, that is what we're dealing with. This pandemic is really taking a toll, more so on others than some than others. With that, we are going to take your calls, 465-2555, 718-577-2916. Let's take our first call. Good morning, welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Ness.
Good morning.
Yes, just a few points.
Yes.
A few hundred out of 50 or 100,000 population does not represent a flood. Okay, and we should not make it seem like that is what it is. Okay. Secondly, as long as they are bona fide citizens, okay, whether economic or otherwise, then they have the rights of a citizen, and so by all means set up shop. Third, and they're providing a net benefit to the country. Don't they bring in foreign capital to set up shop? And people do. Why do you think people patronize them? All right, they do it for a reason. It's a benefit to them, right? And they may not employ locals directly, and we have nothing against a local employing their family members in their private business. Nobody makes noise about that. So why should the Chinese be any different? Okay? Although there's little direct employment in the businesses that we see, there's a lot of indirect employment in the movement of goods, in the movement of money, that, you know, is less visible, but it certainly is there, right? And so, and I don't understand from the outset why single out the Chinese. Okay, I don't know why they would come in for that. Maybe because they pretty much stick to themselves, unlike other people who come in. Even though some of them do that as well. So I don't think we should really. I don't think it's a huge problem. Not at this stage anyway, and it's not out of control, put it that way. With regards to the announcement you made just now about St. Vincent, one has to wonder if that is not all strategy, that they're making these big pronouncements because they want to scare people into doing stuff that they want. Okay, I can't imagine that a government would not have been planning for different scenarios. I heard somebody on another station this morning make a very profound statement, basically saying if a leader is just looking at best case scenarios, then they should not be in leadership. Because all sorts of things, especially in this environment, can happen, and you should be planning in advance for it. Don't wait until you're desperate to be making comments like this. They should have been preparing their citizens for any eventuality, okay? Whether it have to be cuts in salaries or something like that, but certainly not make drastic actions like these. Unless, of course, they were lying to the people all along, right? And that is where transparency comes in. If you're saying that things are hunky-dory all along, and then all of a sudden you have to do this, take this drastic action, then it's a bad way of governing. That's bad governance, I think. That's my opinion.
Okay, and thank you for your opinion. All right, we got a caller. Okay. Good morning, welcome.
Good morning, Brother Tony.
Good morning, sir.
I ain't expect no better from those who want to bring down the unity government. I ain't expect no better from them. But Brother Tony, that is what I want. That is where they belong in to happen to Sinkit Nevis. That Sinkit Nevis cannot pay the workers. Civil servant can't pay the workers. That is what they want. That's why you see them coming up with all kind of negative things. When you listen to different radio talk shows in this country, and the people them listen now in the diaspora and listen to them, people might feel like the government and the police them here is preventing people from keep function. But the whole world like that, everybody goes stick to the protocol, and we ain't have COVID here as some countries. If you listen to yesterday, a friend called me from Antigua, and he told me the situation in Antigua right now, even in the prison, people resigning from the prison workers resigning. You understand? Officers resigning. So that is what they want to happen to the people in the country. That the government press slack and the situation get worse, and then they got something to say politically. But it cannot happen. You understand? Because they're destroying the country more than anything else. You understand? With the propaganda they're spreading and saying kind of negative thing. But Brother Tony, with them, they cannot distract nobody from the real thing going on. And the government got to continue to do what they got to do to keep the country alive and keep the economy floating. Brother Tony, you have a wonderful day. God bless.
Okay, thank you. Back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to Frank and Candid.
Good morning, Mr. Nice. How are you?
I am well.
Yeah, let me start with the article coming out of St. Vincent.
Uh-huh.
I remember earlier in the pandemic, we said that the countries that took the pandemic for granted, they're going to suffer the most. And it's happening. The reality is that this pandemic was not something to play with. You couldn't play with the livelihood of your country, your economy, just in the sense that you're saying, okay then, the pandemic is here, I'm going to try to see if this country is closing now, I'm going to stay open just to make some quick dollars, and then at the end of the day, you still have to close back down. Because what is happening with all of these countries is opening, closing. And when you close, it is more money to get back the country back at a certain level. So this is a real serious problem, and we in the Federation should keep a close eye on what is happening. I have been saying and I've been telling people over and over, we have this tendency to take things for granted. And it is one of our biggest downfalls. Luckily for us, we are in a good position. The vaccine is here, persons still are reluctant for whatever reason, but if we can accomplish the herd immunity, that will even position us in a better position than where we are today. In relation to the Chinese, the thing about it, Mr. Nias, it's been something that was forthcoming in terms of the Chinese was going to eventually take over, because again, sometimes we have to blame our own self. We have this tendency just to take everything for granted. The Chinese, yes, they come, they set up shop, and slowly but surely, and as you say, a lot of the local persons are benefiting and they are quiet about it, because when they have an institution and they could rent it out to the Chinese. But the Chinese, they have this tendency to bring in their own people, and as you said, it's human trafficking. They do all kind of things behind the scene. So we are the bigger picture. A lot of things we are not aware of, and as someone said earlier, the population of China itself, they can afford to do certain things, and that's why the Chinese can pay up front, because they have this tendency. You do business with them, they always pay you up front. The local person going to give you a lot of run around, and most of the time we do not contribute in terms of help our local person. We like this crab in a barrel syndrome. As soon as the local person making some headway, we try to pull them down. But the Chinese, they stick together, and the Indians, they do the same thing. So why we can't do the same thing? So that's why we're going to always be lagging behind. It's unfortunate, but that's the reality to life. But as usual, great program. I will continue to listen.
Okay.
Have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you. Back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to Frank and Candid.
Yeah, good morning, Tony.
Hey, good morning.
Yes. First, I want to let you know that I will be supporting Honorable Sean Kenneth Richards on Sunday. With his great party where he's leading. A party where I have to be proud of supporting. But I want them to know, you know. I want all of them to know that there's not going to play with this unity concept, you know. And all who saying all kind of things, I want them to know that we who put them there want unity. I listen to some people talk, but they laughing. Because I know the tiger just waiting, you know, for them to do stupidness. But he could say he's just a waste paper going in the basket. He will never run this country around and scam down around here. Not he. Not he. Not for what that vagabond boy do to Kennedy Simmons. He cannot run this country again. Once I hear, he cannot run this. Kennedy and Simmons took up this country in 1980. In 95, I was instrumental with that guy around Basti asking people to support him for the board to Port Zente. In 1996, the man took up the country. 95, 96, some of the port jump, and 29 men. Half of these guys were from Sandy Point and the rural island, around the island. Turn us away. And it looked like these young
drugs here playing Momo. Not he. We don't want them kind of leadership here. We don't want them kind of people here. He had the most money in the Caribbean to buy all these buildings no matter and leave down here. You know what you know? Empower the agent people them. And we people them got over there pack up like sardines. That's what he do. We don't want them kind of people running the country. I want to let Sean know. When he go down there, he must let his supporters them to know that unity is here to stay. And have a good day, Tony.
All right. Have a good day. That's passionate jam down for you. Let's go to the phone again. Good morning. Welcome.
Tony.
Yes, sir.
Listen to me. I could ask you a question.
Go ahead. I may have an answer. I may not.
What the program is all about?
What the program is all about is about your ideas and opinions, and you know. Go ahead. You have one?
So Tony, so everybody call in and they got the idea. Somebody else got to come in and give the different views with politics.
It seems like that's what you're doing right now. So tell me what's on. Seems like you're doing the same thing. What's on your mind?
Tony, listen to me.
I am listening. What's on your mind?
You see, the Chinese them, I will always back up the Chinese them. Because when it comes on holidays, rams them are closed down. You understand?
Okay.
Chinese are open.
Okay.
So, and people here in St. Kitts who got money to open their own business. So we petition to support them. They got politics in everything. Right? So that's the reason why you see St. Kitts ain't getting nowhere. That's why Dominican gonna come in, sell food on the boat. The Venetian will come in and sell food on the boat. And we got to buy them. Because we got the fertile soil, instead we use it. They ignore it. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a shame to hear people call them the Chinese them. We can't call them the Chinese them because you got money in your pocket, you got money in the bank, millions of dollars. All you have to do, since the Chinese come, and you see them open business over saying you try to get a business place and a supermarket and sell food so people could support you. You can't blame the Chinese for everything. And that's how people will open up the eyes and see. People don't say the Chinese will rob them, Chinese will do them this, Chinese will do them that. But then at the end of the day, the state government in the Chinese in places. Who they go buy? They go thief.
Okay. All right. Got you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. And there's somebody with an opinion that he liked the Chinese because they ignore our holidays. Okay. All right. Let's take the next call. We got a caller? Okay. All right. Different people have different opinions, you know? Okay. Let me just give you a quick quote here. We got a call? Okay, let's take the call. Good morning. Welcome.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, you know why the people, I mean, think it don't really want to open business here and business there, because when you hire them, you became a victim of the people who you hire. They just do you as they like and mess with your business. You see? You put in the money to get back out money, they're taking out the share also. But at the end of the day, you ain't getting nowhere. So some people rather just hold the money and watch it grow in the bank. And when they go to the training, let me tell the gentleman the thing, and they take up anything. They look like 2, 4, 5 months down the road, a person dead. And what they do if they don't like it, if they ain't gonna good satisfaction, they pass away. And we think it's natural cause and not natural cause. Right? Because they're very high-tech.
Oh,
okay. I had a business, I hire people. I just do as they like. The last person I had, for nearly going on 2 years, right? The person they just used to do as they like. I give them a book, give them 2 books. And you know, Mr. Nyas, they used to write down first good, and when they find, when I go back check this morning, I will find where I can get $50 or $60 over. I mean, they put it in, and you could see he drink sell. They hopped around. They stop putting or stop write down everything. So we the people them, we become too much a victim of them, the people we hire. So that's why people they just want to analyze themselves and say, look, I either stay in my business, I don't take the money and open my business at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to Frank and Candid.
Good morning, Mr. Nyas.
Good morning. You got
This is Dumpling.
Yes, Dumpling.
Mr. Nyas, you know what I don't like? These people coming here and going on the clinic, getting pregnant, and getting the children. Well, and now we just go away, the born children. But we have somebody who will stand up for with the insurance or whatever, or the health care. These are coming and getting everything free. They go to the hospital. If we don't pay $150 to deliver a child, then they're paying this, they're supposed to pay more than that. They're getting free medication. Now, I was down here Tuesday. I see about 6 going in the clinic belly big. Eh? That is not fair. They're really talking about the Spanish because we used to go Santo Domingo, go cut cane and so. But these other kind of people where they look like getting free health things from St. Kitts. Man, that is not fair. I don't like that. They're supposed to pay something. Pay something. It's every time you go down the clinic, I choose them and big belly. You're seeing them, you know? And they're coming more and more and more. And to me, it looks like more Chinese. Once upon a time, the Spanish them used to breed a lot. But it looks like the Chinese them taking it over. It's a year noise with the jet Chinese. And the Chinese taking it over now. Every minute you see Chinese going down with big belly. And I don't like that. The government, my government, have to do something about that. They're getting too much of free medication. I don't like it. They come out from the doctor, they're going to buy the dispensary, chucking the people, coming back out with the medication. Men like that, let us spend the money. They got money, they got more money than us, you know? Because they're bringing these people here with a certain amount of money. They could buy the whole of St. Kitts. So when you look to buy about 5 estates, and then you see my lot of business going up with these Chinese, and the next thing I want my government to do, block the Chinese them, gain them permit or license to open business. Let me local people, if I have money, open up all your little business. Even sell couple sardines, we are not sausage where you know think it's people like. Book back bread and cheese in all your little business. And fresh butter and bread and all them kind of things. and let them do go where they're going. They don't give back nothing to St. Kitts. They ain't giving back nothing. Ramsey destroying and doing nothing. Every village I see destroying, man, the government want to do something. Block them with this. Block them for me, please. This is Dumpling, see you.
Okay, Dumpling. Don't worry too much about the big belly. Maybe it's just the food. All right, let's go back to the phones. Good morning, welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay. First of all, that lady just spoke there, Dumpling, that's my cousin. But I disagree with certain things that she said. But I wasn't to comment on that. Let me tell you, the problem with the issue about Chinese and black, it's not just Kitty Shan. You see, black people, they don't have the mentality to invest. Okay? The Chinese invest. And to correct something from Dumpling, no foreigners could come into a country like that and have access just like nationals. They had to have some kind of immigration permission, which they do, unless they operate in illegal operation. So if they are a citizen of St. Kitts, they're entitled to manage their business in whatever fit according to the law. So we cannot be racist, we cannot be discriminative. So that is the part I don't like that my cousin just said. The other portion is, when a business comes into any area, it must operate according to how the rules and regulations should be set. 2 weeks ago I called in about an issue with MoneyGram, and it is particular that MoneyGram in St. Kitts. And one of the major issues, we are here foreign, and some of us have an obligation to support our families. I'm in a U.S. country. And for instance, when I send money through MoneyGram and I explicitly detail pay in U.S., I expected for it to pay in U.S. They want to give easy. And you know why? Because the rate of exchange for a U.S. dollar today, if you check on the money market or anything, go Google it, is $2.70. MoneyGram paying $2.68. On the black market, like Rams, you could get $2.70. Now, I'm arguing over 2 cents. But if 1 million people send $1 million, depending on how much 2 cent MoneyGram gonna keep? Multiply that. If I send money and said pay in US, pay in US. You cannot say you don't have US to pay, because most of the money is coming to St. Kitts is US dollars. I sure do right about that. So, when they are claiming they don't have US, if that is the nature and the strategy and the format, they must have cash of US dollars to pay who request in US. Because you're in your country. It's the only time you want to see your easy. You want to see something different. Even food. You eat a Vienna sausage in St. Kitts, you may wish you could have get a Vienna sausage from another country. So, I have a problem with that. And they messed up a transaction that I sent some money to help with a medication for someone. And due to a simple error that was corrected, they refused to pay that money. So guess what? I had to wait 3 to 10 business days for the money to refund back to me and to resend. By that time, if it's medication and it's urgent, the person die. Or they got to scramble some other way. So the practice of MoneyGram, and I'm putting them on blast, and I'm calling them out, pay the people what is requested and stop saying we don't have no cash flow of US. They could get US dollars. Okay. Because most of the money is coming into St. Kitts is in US dollars. Thanks for that time. Hope I don't offend anyone.
All right.
But
thank you.
My voice has been heard.
Thank you. We had that discussion already. So, but let's go back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome.
Hello, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you, sir?
I am well.
Good. I think the topic you have this time, I just want to raise one point that I haven't heard it raised for the morning regarding the Chinese. The Chinese get full support from their country where they're coming from in regarding their setting up business. So you find the loans that they get from their country is really at a very, very low end from my understanding. As a result of that, they give them a head start when they do have to migrate to our country or any other country for that matter. The other thing is that when they do come here, I haven't heard anybody saying that the Chinese have supported to any of our cultural, social, or sports promotion in the country. You never get a sponsorship from them. You never hear them involved in anything that is uplifting to our country, which I think is a real challenge. And at the same time, you as a local entrepreneur looking to get your business up, you're getting a lot of runaround, you're getting a lot of difficulties, you get a lot of delays. And it creates a very challenging position for you. When you're trying to do something for your own people and trying to raise the level of business and opportunities for your locals. And this is very, very challenging. I'm not sure what is the real answer for it, but I believe that a lot more consideration should be given to local development entrepreneurs. You know, this has been a challenge for me personally. You know, but at the same time, you cannot give up. You know, one has to look at it realistically. There is a competitive world. You know, so a lot of times it could make it a lot easier and show them more interest in a timely manner. The local developers, local entrepreneurs will make our life a lot easier. That's my contribution, sir.
Okay, thank you. All right, back to the phones. Good morning, welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, let me twist it right now and speak reality. That is nothing but the truth. You see how the black people are saying it's people, saying it's a Navy people, we do not like support our own. The problem is not the Chinese them coming here and opening up what they open up them because the government give them the authority. Problem is who going and support them and left their own. You understand? That's how I see it. We do not like to see our own rise. Soon as you open up a business as a black man, there's a lot of fight down. When they see you driving a car or building a decent house and you have a business, you got to fight towards it to life. Fight as a black man in these regions. You got to fight to reach to where you want to go. You got the supportment, you got to push yourself. And we see it every day. You just cannot sit back in a business and relax and things come in. You got to be a real rich man. But for you to go in for it and you're making one step at a time, it's like crabbing barrel. Because I was a little entrepreneur. And I take out a car out of Hasford, I purchase a car out of Hasford because I had a chance and I've been breaking down on me all the time because I second and third and fourth hand. And you got people come to me and tell me, and this person said they're supporting you because your boy can and them things. I'm telling you, this reality ain't a lie. But what I could do? After them, I have to keep pushing myself. And don't care what a man said, even though he ain't buying from me because I feel like I buy a car out of money what I hustle. I'm going to keep pushing because you got to be in debt to reach where you want to reach. And sometimes you ain't get to reach it, you're dead on the way. So before my body go to the earth, I'm going to continue rising to the beneficial of my youth them, because of me. If you want support, you ain't support. It's your choice. But my problem is not the Chinese them. We don't here fighting on one another. Support one another. Like you got a business, selling the same thing like the Chinese them, and the Chinese come next to you, dog dead for you. Everybody going to buy the Chinese. That's how I see it.
Okay.
That's the problem there.
All right.
Support one another.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Thank you for your input. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to Frank and Candid.
Tony, I want to agree with that my brethren there and other callers. Now, the Chinese them come in as investors. And investors is part of what help keep up your country. We don't have sugar cane anymore. But the only wrong thing, when these Chinese come in and they put down the project, they don't hire the locals them. And I think government got to look into something serious about it. Because there is investment. They come invest. And China invest all over the world. Chinese population big, and they're spreading out. And he's right that if we don't support our local people, we will never get nowhere. When a local man got a shop or got a business place, and he try to build on something to make it think, oh, he got money now, he talk about him. He got money now, he buy a car, he did see that, he tell them later. You know? And this is what our people got against our people all the time. That's why you see that, whether Indian or Chinese or whoever, come invest, they're going to always get you. Because we don't support one another. And them other people in here, going to support them. Look at the Spanish them. The Spanish, them support the Spanish. The Spanish not the little joint, you see them there every night, gathering around. Even the local go on the Spanish, but you know some local men will go on the Spanish. What? But it's all of that, you know. If we just stick together as one and try to avoid others and patronize other business, everything will just work out well for us. And we wouldn't go call a training him. Because there is investors. Okay then, Tony.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back for some more of your calls right after the break.
Fact. Before COVID-19, non-communicable diseases or NCDs caused 8 out of 10 deaths in the Caribbean. Now, people with NCDs or obesity have a greater risk of becoming very ill or dying from COVID-19. Fact. NCDs and obesity are linked to the excessive consumption of packaged products high in sugars, fats, and salt. Now more than ever, it's time to face the facts. We need to know what is really in our food. Octagonal warning labels are the best way for us to spot products that are high in sugars, fats, and salt. Now, more than ever, we need better labels, better choices, better health.
This message is brought to you by the Pan American Health Organization, the Healthy Caribbean Coalition, the OECS Commission, and UNICEF. For more information, find us on Healthy Caribbean Coalition social media platforms.
It takes a village
to raise our children
into productive citizens
and progressive communities.
It takes a village
to provide support to our young people
who are going down the wrong path
and need family and community support.
It takes a village
to help our children who have made a mistake,
to take responsibility
and learn from their mistakes.
It takes a village
to actively help in the rehabilitation of our youth,
to assist them in being productive,
to reintegrate back into our communities.
It takes a village
to care about each other,
to lift up our children
and make them into better adults.
It takes a village to give our youths
a chance for change.
Join the movement
and give our children a chance for change.
This message is brought to you by the USAID OECS Juvenile Justice Reform Project 2, funded by the United States Agency for International Development. For more information, log on to oecs.org/JJRP.
All right, welcome back to Frank and Candid. I'm Tony Nass, and we're going to go back to the phone. Say good morning. Welcome.
Good day, Mr. Nass.
Hey, good day.
How are you, sir?
I am well.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, earlier one of your callers mentioned about the Chinese not closing on public holidays, things of that nature. I mean, I think that's a sign of disrespect for our public holidays.
I think so, but
not only that, our religious holidays is the last weekend. But that is not surprising because they don't believe in God. Because look at it. They are Muslims, which are called Uyghurs in China. They have them in concentration camps. Once you start to get up and worship Muhammad, they lock you up. And just recently, United Nations, the General Assembly, criticized China for that, the treatment of the religious sects in China. So I'm not surprised that they come here and want to just disrespect our religious holidays, especially one as important as Good Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, but their aim is to bleed the country. They always take out of the country more than they put into it. And that we see that in Africa and in poor countries like ourselves. Do they contribute anything? Have they ever sponsored anything? They might have a little marble competition, marble pitching competition somewhere.
They didn't even put up $1 to say they sponsor the winner or something of the sort. Nothing. No basketball, no football, no cricket, no nothing they invested in. They have no interest in the country. Their objective is to take out even more in any form necessary, whether by fair means or by foul. And it is very stupid of us in St. Kitts to be following these Chinese around and encouraging them, being part of their sinister plan to bleed our country to death. It is crazy. But we have got to learn, because they have shut down a lot of our small businesses. They've put a lot of our own Kittitians in poverty. Whether we don't have a shop, so we don't know how it feels. But a lot of those people in the small areas of the country, who mom and pop shops, they used to be able to support themselves in some small way. No doubt they're begging, they're looking work and all kind of things. So thanks to the Chinese. And it is we who help the Chinese to put our people on the breadline, because they don't employ our people. They have no use for us. And we should, as a result, should have no use for them. The quicker we stop encouraging them to come here, the better it would be for the whole of St. Kitts and Nevis. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. We're going to take this call. Good morning. Welcome.
Greetings in the name of our great African ancestors, especially the most honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey and Queen and Zing. Blessed be my beloved African. But how are you? How's the family?
Doing well.
All right. Brother, first let me say, I know time is getting near.
That's right.
So, brother, let me say, I support Brother Sean Kenneth Richards 100% leadership of the People's Action Movement. Brother, let me go on now. Brother, you see, with the Chinese situation, brother, when it comes to that, African people, most African people in that situation are the worst own enemies. Brothers, I don't know why Chinese population in St. Kitts Nevis, but sure it's not even 0.1 a population. Who support all of those Chinese businesses? African people, stop support Chinese businesses and buy from your own African brothers and sisters. Support your own African brothers and sisters. And the government, previous and this current administration, stop giving these Chinese license to compete with African peoples in St. Kitts and Nevis. That's the problem, brother. That is the problem. If the Chinese know when they're coming into St. Kitts Nevis that nobody gonna patronize them, you think they will come? They will have to shut up after a certain amount of time, because nobody gonna got no business establishment opening and nobody patronizing them. So brothers and sisters in St. Kitts Nevis and other places, but St. Kitts and Nevis right now, what are we talking about? Stop patronizing other people, Chinese and whoever. Patronize African businesses. That's the solution to the problem, and stop talking about Chinese this, Chinese that.
Okay,
But I know time is there, so continue to doing the good work. Pan-Africanism will perish. One love.
Okay, thank you. Well, we're up against the clock, and so if you wanted this caller, you got 30 seconds. Go ahead. Caller? No, okay. You got 30 seconds. Go.
Okay, right. Yeah, and try to be quick. Yeah, we got to be more smart and thing. You know, our government go to their government for assistance, right? So if we go government gonna go to their government for assistance, you don't think that is a hand come thing? They say. You believe the Chinese them just packing up and coming here because they here think it's so good, or the other Caribbean thing? The government go to their government, and if we government go to them, you think their government is not asking back from our
Well, we go to Taiwan. We go to Taiwan.
All right.
Okay. All right. That's it. Well, just quickly, and that caller who talked about they love the Chinese because of the holidays. You know, I had known for a fact that we arrested here a local business person for selling alcohol on a Good Friday. So just think about that. And that's a fact. Thank you all for your input, your calls and everything. We'll be back tomorrow with another topic, I guess. And much more Frank and Candid.
There's never a bad time to feel good. At Courts, we've got all you need to make your home more comfortable and enjoyable, all at the best prices. Save on electronics and smart devices. Great deals on furniture and appliances. Get it now with Ready Finance and we'll pay your first and last installments. So it's all about feel-good days.